Let's get it. Episode 9. Get the energy up, baby. Welcome to the Sales Factory, episode 9. I'm your host, Coach Carroll. As always, hope this episode finds you doing well. This one's going to be fun. I've got to talk to you guys today a little bit about finances. I know you just came off the episode with Nicole and how she has just absolutely crushed it with becoming the top agent for Rocket Mortgage at State Farm last year. But in this episode, I don't want to spend a lot of time on that. I really want to talk to you guys about something that changed my business for the good, and I think it's somewhere that a lot of people struggle. I took this from a couple different mentors. Like, I kind of had gotten this told to me over and over and over again. But essentially, I was at a place in like 2018, early 2019 where, like, I'm not going to lie, my finances were a fucking mess, man. Like, worse than they had probably ever been. My QuickBooks were messed up. We had tried to hire a couple bookkeepers. We had tried to, like, outsource some stuff. And they just completely jacked it up even worse. And so it literally took me hours and hours and hours and hundreds of dollars, probably thousands of dollars actually, to get everything cleaned up. And since then, I promised myself I would never let it get that bad again. And so this would be like a perfect insert for an ad for like a bookkeeper, but it's not happening. I'm not pitching anything. I think the only ad that we had on the entire season was for the book Phenomenal Phone Calls, and it's fucking free, so it's not even really an ad. But today I want to talk to you about finances. It'll be a short episode before we bust into episode 10. The season's almost over. I hope you guys have enjoyed it this far. Make sure to go rate, subscribe, like, comment, whatever you got to do on the podcast, wherever you listen to this at. Helps more people see it and just helps me, weaponize more entrepreneurs, more business owners, and more leaders in their teams. So today, the finances, this is what I want to talk about, is that after I got that screwed up, I never went more than a week without catching up my bookkeeping. And even to this day, I know you're probably like, man, that's crazy. But QuickBooks, honestly, we use QuickBooks Online, and it is like a godsend now. Used to, like, it was a lot of like manual entry and stuff. Now you just hook your bank accounts up to it. Once you categorize a transaction 2 or 3 times, it picks it up, and it's like, oh, Starbucks, got it, meal expense. Like, it knows what you're spending your money on, and so you easily have the ability to, to quickly do your bookkeeping. Like, I maybe spend an hour, if that, per week. Probably not even that. It's probably like 30 minutes, 45 minutes. And that's for both companies, for Easy Pro and for Carroll Media. And so what I want to impress upon you, one of the guys I listen to, Steve Wilmar, he always says, I don't tell you this to impress you. I tell it to impress upon you. And I think he actually got that from Les Brown. But I want to impress upon you that your finances are important. I think one of the biggest challenges that small business owners have is they don't know what they don't know. And so when it comes to finances, they don't know how to read a P&L, so therefore they don't worry about keeping their finances up to date because they don't understand, they don't know that by keeping your finances up to date, your profit and loss statement is now clean and it can give you accurate information. Because if you don't look at your profit and loss statement, then why would you care about keeping your books caught up, right? Like, you're going to catch them up in time for taxes, but that's about it. But I will tell you, what gets measured gets improved upon. Okay, write that one down if you're taking notes. What gets measured gets improved upon. So if you're a small business owner and you're not spending enough time with your books, if you don't know what your profit margins are, if you don't know, how to read financials, I'm going to give you a little resource. Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, talks about cash flow quadrants, and he also talks about how to read income statements and balance sheets. That is like business 101, how to read a profit loss statement, which is also called an income statement, and how to read a balance sheet. It's income and expenses, assets and liabilities. If you do not have a CPA that you're currently working with, reach out to me. I've got a guy here in Louisville, Kentucky. He can work remote with you. He's very cost effective. He's set up to be able to operate for small businesses. And again, this is not a paid ad. I don't get paid anything for this. I'll just make a recommendation for you. If you want to reach out, send me a DM. I'll connect you guys. But at the end of the day, you need to be on Thursdays. Like I do Thursdays. You can do Tuesdays. I know Matt Monero, my mentor Matt Monero, he does Tuesdays. You need to take some time throughout the week. You need to find like a 2 or 3 hour time block, and you need to just review the prior week. So on Thursdays, Amanda Black and I, my integrator, we sit down in the conference room and we pull up our scorecard, like our EOS scorecard, the Entrepreneur Operating System. If you guys haven't read Rocket Fuel or Traction by Gino Wickman, go get those books like right now. We have a scorecard that we look over and we say, hey, how did we do last week? Like, most of you guys are fucking running around with your hair on fire, and you don't know how you did last month, let alone last week. You might not even know how you're doing this year. Like, I might be like, how's business? You're like, I don't know, DJ. Let me open up my bank account app and see how much cash I got in there. Like, okay, that's maybe an indicator, but that shouldn't be your leading indicator. You really should be tracking revenue. You should be tracking how good you're doing. How's business? Like how many, like for us, I'll just run you guys down through my scorecard. Give me just a second. Let me pull this up for you because I think this will be very helpful. Let me go in here, Google Sheets, and we'll go to the EOS scorecard. Okay, so each week I'm tracking how many outbound dials did we make, how many discovery calls did we set, how many discovery calls were held, meaning like how many meetings actually happened, how many deals did we win, how many clients did we upgrade, and that's all. So that's all sales related. And then we have client engagement. So our project manager tracks retention. Did we lose any clients? Because I want to know if we lost any clients last week. We look at weekly revenue. What was the revenue for last week based on what our goal revenue number is? What's our cash balance in the bank account? How many errors did we have? And I want those notated out. So if there's like, if I'm looking at my scorecard and in that column it's like, oh, there were 2 errors last week, I can go down and see like this client, we set up on an invoice instead of set up on auto debit. Cool, got it. And then like there could be another error. Like, okay, there looks like I'm just like looking at the scorecard. There was a copywriting mistake in one of the ads. So like we ran an ad and there was a copywriting mistake. So like I want to know what the errors are in my business. And then I have capacity for my creative team. How much of the work that we're doing last week was in-house stuff for us and how much was client work, right? And I want to see what that capacity looks like. And then lastly, we track our TOMA, Top of Mind Awareness campaign. If you guys aren't familiar with that, go check out CoachCarroll.com. But the TOMA campaign is direct mail pieces. And so we track how many direct mail pieces did we send out last week. And these are like, I'm not talking like big direct mail campaign with postcards. I'm talking like these are colored envelopes, no return address, handwritten, stamped, something inside the envelope has to be sealed up. Like there's some work and time that goes into these. So like how many of those did we send out? So I look at these numbers every single week. And I know you might be like, geez, man, that's a lot. How do you have time for that? How do you have time to go broke? Huh? How do you have time? You're not making time in your business to do the shit that you should be doing as a business owner, and you're running around being quote unquote busy, and it's costing you money and it's costing you success. You're shortchanging your success because you look at things like this, like reviewing your finances or reviewing your scorecard and reviewing your performance for the week prior as the fucking business owner. Because listen, let me tell you, nobody's coming to save you. If this recession hits next year, nobody's coming to save you. There will not be another PPP round. There will not be another round of handouts. Nobody's coming to save your business. So you need to get your shit tight. Get a scorecard build out. Start tracking your metrics. Start tracking your activities that your team members are doing. And this isn't micromanaging. You do this so that you don't have to micromanage, right? Like Amanda Lyons knows if I fill in my scorecard, DJ doesn't come to me every week and say, hey, how many clients have we lost this week? Well, why'd we lose them? What happened? We don't have to have that conversation. It's right here in my scorecard. I know all this information. It's right here. So track your financials, track your scorecards, and do it on a weekly basis. I'm telling you, somebody's going to listen to this episode. Somebody's going to listen to me right now. Somebody's listening to this episode, and this is what will change their life. This is going to change and alter the course of their business because right now their finances are a fucking mess. They don't know what their P&L was for last month. And it might, if you're listening to this right now, I'm talking to you. You don't know what your P&L was last month. You don't know if you were profitable or if you were upside down. You don't know how your performance of your team is. You don't track anything. So now how are you supposed to hold your team accountable? Now it's all just touchy-feely. Hey, I feel like you're being lazy. Well, that's great. They don't feel like they're being lazy. How's that conversation going to go? Versus, hey, John, We said that you were going to do $250 a week. You're doing 195, and you've done 195 consistently for the past 6 weeks. What are we going to do about this? That's a whole different conversation you're going to have with your employee. I think we're just going to leave that one there. I probably hurt some feelings on that one, but I'm sorry. I'm not really sorry. It's the Sales Factory, man. It's raw and real. If you don't like it, go listen to something else, man. There's plenty of touchy-feely podcasts out there. If Coach Carroll's too much for you, it's okay. You almost made it to the end. I'd say hang around, though. We only got 2 more episodes. Ethan Adams coming hot. Coming in hot on episode 10. You're going to love this guy. He's a straight-up hustler. Don't miss out. Keep listening. It's the Sales Factory. I'm your host, Coach Carroll. Hustle, it's worth it, baby.